So I'm going to go over today what I like to put in my medic bag and its various components. So let's start with airway stuff first. I have a King LT airway here. These go into the airway, protect the esophagus and the trachea to breathe. King LTs, these are pretty good. This is another King LT. It's just the package was opened a little bit. This is a 8 French endotracheal tube. They said someone needs to be intubated. Forbid. I have here a quick litter, disposable litter, rated to 1,000 pounds. These can be used to carry things other than people. I wouldn't recommend dragging them on the ground because they'll get ripped. And good to have in a larger medical bag. These are some of the cat tourniquets I have. I made a video the other day on how to put on a tourniquet. It's always good to review the instructions. They call these bourbon airways. I call them J-tubes because they look like J-tubes and they protect the tongue from falling back onto the epiglottis. Different sizes. You measure from here to here. You can see that. Now, these are medical cards, field medical cards. Back in the old days when I was in, we had the Xerox copy one that you would write on it and it would print on the other one. You would attach one to the patient. You would keep a copy of one. And hopefully somehow it made it to the medical records. So a patient could claim service connection for being shot or something. I don't know. But these, I'm not going to go over how to use them, but they're pretty good. I don't know if the military has an updated version or not. I got these on a government training website. Thousands of them. These are universal splints or SAM splints, and they serve a purpose of splinting. Very good. Very universal. Had these around for decades. You never have enough elastic or bandage. God, this is not elastic. Can never have enough. Same thing with scissors. And I really don't like putting little Velcro tourniquets on here like that, but I did. Sorry. They just get in the way. So over here, I'm not going to open it, but I want to. So I have an IV bag and tubing and everything to start an IV with some saline, normal saline. These are some IVs, some normal saline to make a flush, and some tape. Now, whether or not you can start an IV, I don't know if you have a license or not. Skin stapler. In case you got a boo-boo and you need staple. I was on Facebook the other day, and someone was making a comment about these topical staplers and anything other than putting stitches in a wound or stapling it shut that you just put on the surface and create surface tension with glue and steri strips and various types of steri strips. Some wounds don't respond well to that. They need more pressure. So here is just a little bag that I keep for emergency stuff. You smell the benzene. So I have a little bit of moleskin. This bag was originally intended for one of my bug out bags and made it back into my A-bag area. Cold pack. You're never going to have enough cold packs. So I keep various syringes and needles just in case I need to do an injection or push something. Not really that much. And this would be more for epinephrine, sub-Q epinephrine. You never have enough gloves. You can never have enough gloves. Want to keep something clean, you use iodine. Keep it clean. I'm going down the line here. Someone's cold and shock, you want to put thermal blanket on them. Keep them warm. Keep them from going in shock. Tongue depressors, they have multiple uses. This is a biopsy punch if you need to drain something. I've only used them to take out ruptured cysts, just to drain it. I stock my 8 bags with its own light source to include chem light and a battery as a backup. This is Dermabond or glue for wounds. Some smaller wounds, you could just push them together and put some Dermabond on it and then cover it with steri strips, and it'll close off the wound. Other wounds that are bigger or in areas where there's some movement, there's a lot of pressure there, and it'll rupture. That's where you do steri or sutures or staples. I have a couple scalpels in case I need to I&D something. Okay. And there's other reasons I'm not going to go into. Keep a couple of butyryl ipratropiums, inhalers. Now we're going to go into the more boo-boo stuff. Petroleum gauze. If you want to create an airtight seal, this is one way to do it. Elastic bandage. These are good with splints to mobilize a joint by itself. And if you have to do a pressure dressing, these can help too. These are the more modern emergency bandages that can act both as a dressing and a pressure dressing. Back in the day, we had field dressings and we would turn it into a pressure dressing. But now you can twist these a little bit. They're also called Israeli bandages because the Israelis invented them. I keep a couple on stock. I have a couple that I practice with, as you can see. Another tourniquet. You know, good to have a couple tourniquets. Now, don't forget to pack moleskin. And the thing is with the moleskin is if you got a blister and you don't want to pop it, or if you do pop it, you want to cut the moleskin in a circle to go around the blister and put some pressure on it so every time you walk, you're not putting more pressure on that blister, making it hurt. And that too helps dry out that blister and make that skin tougher. This is co-band dressing. This came around in the 90s. And it's a good field dressing. Hospitals use it now for boo-boos after drawing blood. Back in the day, we call these muslin dressings, not to be confused with muslin. I don't know why. But now they're called triangle bandages. We use them with old splits. You know, 2 up, 2 down, or 3 up, 3 down, whatever, where the fracture was or wherever you thought it was. This is a staple removal kit. Since I have a stapler, I have to have a way of taking them out. This Velcro, so you got to check these, make sure that they're elastic. If they're not, you just throw them away. Velcro tourniquet. It's also good to have Band-Aids, okay? We're going to go into some chest stuff here. Chest seals. It tells you on the directions how to put it on, these chest seals, okay? There's different ones. Vented chest seal, different companies. Now, of course, I bought these. This is just another boo-boo Band-Aid. If you want to do it, relieve a tension pneumothorax with a 14 gauge, this is it right here. We'll go into more details how you do that. This is some Tegaderm just to cover up a wound, like a burn wound or something, just so it's not exposed. Initially, we have a drug epidemic, so Narcan nasal spray can help. Obviously, this is not buddy aid or first aid, that's more buddy aid. It's saline. I got this venom extractor, and I'm not very convinced that it's really effective, but I keep it on me anyway. So, and another scalpel. It looks like it's been used and abused, but it's not been opened, so it's still good. So these are some of the resupplies that I have. Of course, my website is suburbanprepper.com. Now this is my newest aid bag that I'm working on, and I don't like this bag, so I'm going to redistribute it. And we're going to go over what I keep in this, my supposed good aid bag here. Some elastic bandages. I'm going to repack this in a different bag. Some iodine to clean wounds. It's important. Needle decompression, burn dressings, half blood gauze, hemostat gauze dressing for bleeding, and some rubbing alcohol to keep clean, keep your hands clean. And I'm running into these triangular bandages more than ever now. I'm gonna open up this one. I repackage it. You can use anything to package this up. Okay. IV tubing. Important. I'm gonna repackage this anyway. Another IV tubing in case you drop it. Tourniquet. I hope this doesn't break. No, it's in good shape. This is an IV start kit. Just the tape and stuff that you need. A little redundancy. Bag of saline. 0.9 saline. I don't need anything fancy. How many IVs do I have here? A couple 18 gauges and a heplock. And what I use this bag for this part for is when I'm starting an IV, a clean surface area to do it. You can never go wrong with having tape. I got inch tape and 2-inch tape. Tourniquet. A cat tourniquet. I don't know how many different cat tourniquets there are. They say there's 7, I think. I don't know. I don't pay attention. The chest seal that's vented works pretty good. Back in the day, these bleed stops, we used them in the ICU after someone had an arterial catheterization. And we had to stop. We pull the sheath and we put these on and put pressure on for 15 minutes. Multi-trauma dressing. Had these for years. Stethoscope. Actually had this one in Afghanistan with me, and I've taken good care of it, and I've not abused it. Blood pressure cuff, more recent. I was in Afghanistan 2004, 2005. So this is what these splints look like. SAM splints or universal splints when they're not opened. They're nice and flat. I like to have them rolled up in a circle. But why do I have a siphon pump? You have to have some form of suction in your medic bag, okay? Some form of suction. Now, these burn dressings are just for burns. We've gone over them already. More Covan. Elastic bandages. The one thing I like to keep is a pulse ox. Okay? It tells the oxygen set and the heart rate. Of course, you can tell heart rate with your finger or your blood pressure or stethoscope. But what's the use of having a combi vent or a ET tube or anything? You don't have a BAS valve mouse device. This one's sealed and closed. This is the one you go like that. This is some old Curlex. I never throw Curlex away, but I do have a bunch of Curlex and other materials if you want to barter away something with me. I got a ton of these. Let me know. Suburbanprepper.com. I got a contact me. I'm going to pack a wound. I got some iodoform packing gauze. You never know. This is another chem light, or light, I should say, that I keep. And it works. Besides the chem lights. Coban. These are the steri strips that I told you about. For minor boo-boos, okay? Minor boo-boos. And this is the Dermabond or glue. Honestly, I think regular super glue would work just as good to close a wound. I don't know how it would be any more or less sterile than whatever. Alcohol pads to clean something. And then another EpiPen. Although I do have little Epi vials that I prefer to inject. I mean, I guess I'm more hospital-based than that. Never throw out your EpiPens. What would you pack in your aid bag? Leave a comment down below. And thank you for watching. Suburban Prepper out. This is survival. This is resilience. This is Suburban Prepper.